How's it going, Rose? So, I mean, obviously, you know they're going through a little bit of an issue.
I'm just chilling, watching
Uh,
bailiff. I'm a
if you're
demon, halfway
if
through.
you're
What's the point?
if
I don't
you're in
know.
here, you're bailiffing.
Uh,
If you're not
I'm looking
bailiffing,
at the
then you
footage,
leave
and I'm kind of
because there's
curious
active
as
calls
to
going on.
what your viewpoint of this is.
All right.
I'll bailiff.
All
So you
parties,
stand here.
take your seats.
You
All
think
parties,
you
go ahead and
rest,
take your seats.
or you could do that. That also works.
I don't know. Tasing one's in there.
So the tasing one.
All parties, go ahead and take your seats. We will be beginning at this time.
Go sit the fuck down, please.
I said all of the parties are to go ahead and take their seats. Sir in the peanut gallery.
Mr. Chief Justice, shall we do this in Discordia?
Yeah, we're gonna be
Easy.
switching over quite soon.
Yes, sir.
If everyone would like to go ahead and get into the courtroom call in the Discordia for the rest of the court case.
I brought my chair from home.
Alright, Freeman Rose, I'm assuming you guys can talk.
Yep.
Alright.
Is Vinny able to speak as well?
I don't think
He should
he's
be able to,
in.
but he's
yet.
not in call. I don't think.
No, not yet.
No, get in the Discordia.
Alright. Germain, Maximillian, Francais, DeMarquis, Robespier, Pendragon III, Esquire, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the State of San Andreas, serving as a judge in the First Circuit Court of the municipality of Los Santos. I hereby convene court in the civil trial. Amari Williams v. the Los Santos Police Department. If the plaintiff would like to step forward and begin their list of torts and opening argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, in the early hours of May 8th, the routine encounter with law enforcement took a harrowing turn for my client. A turn that led to a flagrant violation of his civil rights and left him physically and emotionally scarred. As he crossed paths with the LSPD, what should have been a brief encounter became a nightmare of excessive force and disregard for basic human dignity. Imagine, if you will, being struck by a vehicle driven by a lone cadet, a vehicle intended to serve and protect, but wielded with reckless abandon. Imagine the shock, the pain, the fear as my client lay helpless on the ground, only to be further assaulted by the very officers sworn to uphold justice. This is not just a case of negligence, it is a case of constitutional violation, a blatant transgression of the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. My client's rights were trampled upon, his body and spirit battered by the unchecked power of those meant to serve the community. But the harm inflicted upon my client does not end with physical injuries. The trauma he endured lingers, casting a shadow over his every waking moment. The scars may heal, but the memory of that fateful encounter will forever haunt him. Today, we seek not just compensation, but justice, a reckoning for the injustices perpetrated against my client by the very institution tasked with safeguarding his rights. We seek to hold the LSPD accountable for their actions, to send a clear message that no one is above the law, not even those sworn to enforce it. For the pain endured, the rights violated, and the trauma suffered, we seek a measure of restitution, a sum of $650,000 to begin the journey towards healing and to reaffirm the value of every individual civil liberties. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to listen with open hearts and minds, to weigh the evidence impartially, and to render a verdict that speaks to the principles of justice and accountability. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss. Oh, dear heavens. Thank you very much, Miss Parks, Los Santos Police Department. If you'd like to have first or second chair approach to make your opening arguments and rebuttal of the tort.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies of the courtroom. My name is Vinny Vegeta. I have the pleasure of representing the LSPD in this case. This is a last-minute situation for me, but of course, anything you do, you have to do it well and do it quick. After reviewing the footage and hearing Mrs. Rose Parks' opening intro, I'm looking at a man across from me, Amari, here, that was on the run from LSPD. What could have been, as Rose said, a very routine traffic stop. Did the PD make him run? What could have been a routine traffic stop in which civilian lives could have been safe. Amari put him in a very bad predicament, very, very bad situation. Now, all of a sudden, we want the ends don't justify the means here. The ends do not justify the means. LSPD is not liable for making someone run from the police department. Why run if you have nothing to hide? Why? This man right here is a criminal. He's already a convicted criminal. And the footage I have seen of both times, he's been very apprehensive in all his police situations. I'm not saying that he should have been hit by the car. I'm not. But that could have been avoided if he would have followed the law. And that's what the law is here for. We do not reward bad behavior in this city. And if that's what Rose Parks wants, she wants to reward bad behavior, that seems very self-incentivized. She, at the end of the day, is vouching for a man that ran from the police. And I understand that this is a civil situation, not a law situation, but both are very, very wrong. Amari had every opportunity to stop that car and think about kids that he could have hit, pregnant women that he could have ran over, buses of children that he could have ran off the road. This man wasn't following any traffic laws. And then when he hops out of the vehicle in the parking lot, he then proceeds to run down an area in which civilian lives should not be running down, with the very danger possibility that the city has recognized of not putting crosswalks in there. There's those crosswalks in there for a reason. LSPD did their job at the end of the day. They chased and apprehended a criminal regardless if there was any issue of injury that was perpetrated by the criminal originally. I understand that she's after a lump sum of $650,000. We will object to that. We believe that if Mari was the one to run, he's 50% liable. LSPD could be 50% liable, and we'd be looking at half of that in response. That is all.
Understood. Miss Parks, if you'd like to begin the open examination of your evidence and witnesses.
Do you want me to share my screen with the evidence?
Yep, you'll share your screen and go over the video, and then give oral arguments on it.
Okay. Just give me a second to pull it up.
I love you, Vinny. Woo! No drugs for you.
Order in the court.
Just let me know when I can begin.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So this is the evidence in the clip. Yes, my client is running away from police officer. Yes, we understand that it wasn't the right thing to do in the moment, but you can see that he is evading all pedestrians, and he never hit anyone in this clip, as Vinny here would like to say. As he's going up, you can clearly see that he's not driving with malicious intent.
Objection, Your Honor. Validity to this request of the footage. I mean, the gentleman, Miss Rose, is running over sidewalks and trash cans. I mean, there's luckily not pedestrians there. He's not evading. There's a
understand.
luckily.
Oh, shut up.
Objection overruled. I believe she's given her oral argument. Based on the evidence, unless she states something untruthful about the clip that's based on a factual nature as opposed to an opinionated nature, you might object to that, but in this situation, I feel she's given an opinionated statement, obviously in favor of her client. If you'd like to go ahead,
Thank you,
Ms.
Your
Rose.
Honor. So, yes, he's still driving away, and right here, he will step out of the vehicle. Now, let me point out, this vehicle in the back here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. You see that the cadet at the time was with his FTO trainer. I just want to point that out. So, Amari steps out. He does not wield a weapon. There's no aggression. He's still just fleeing from the officers. Now, still goes down, sees his police cars, still no weapon wielded. Now, this is where he gets struck, but now you can see in the passenger seat that the cadet is gone. So that means you can see, I don't know, the blue shirt there. He gets struck by the vehicle.
Yo!
Steps out as the cadet, who should not be driving alone in the car.
What the fuck?
Immediately tases him.
Yo, what the
He's on the
fuck,
floor,
bro?
does not have time to
Nah.
recover, and is immediately tased. Or, sorry, cuffed.
Bro,
That's back to NKFC.
fuck you. Nah, bro, that shit hurt, bro. Ah.
I believe
Ah.
our suspect is gonna need some surgery on his right leg. He got ran the fuck over.
Ah.
So my client is verbally showing that he's in pain, physical pain, and the clip ends there with everyone on site.
All right. Do you have any other more oral arguments to add in on this piece of evidence, or do you want to move to your first witness?
Let's do the counterclaim clip.
It's probably not relevant. I would like to call my first witness, if that's okay.
And who would that be?
That will be Amari Williams.
I gotcha. All right. If you want to have them come and take the stand, and bailiff swear them in. And Mr. Williams, if you'll take the stand to my left.
Can everyone hear me?
Sir, if you'll take the witness stand to my left.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll sit right here for you.
And Mr. Bailiff, if you'll come swear the witness in.
So, what's your name?
Amari Williams.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so may God help you?
Yes, sir. I do swear to tell the truth.
Alright.
All right. You may begin your direct examination, counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amari, can you please state your full name and provide some background information about yourself?
Yes, my name is Amari Williams. I work at a variety of jobs. I work at Fast Customs, which I am the manager at. White Widow. Just a recruit, just started that job. Legion Gun Store, and Burger Shot as well. I do a fine job. Time at my job. Very good with customers. I love the city. You know, I would never try to harm anyone on purpose. I'm a very good man deep down inside. Just so everyone knows that. And that's really all about Amari Williams.
Okay.
Objection.
Who is
Does not have a
objecting?
job at White Widow.
I do have a job at White Widow, actually.
Who is speaking?
Phil.
Sir, Phil
Phil.
Dees, owner of White Widow.
And understand. Is he a representative for the police department?
Oh, I have no clue about that. I'm talking about White Widow, sir.
I understand. Mr. Dees, I'm gonna have to hold you in contempt of court for your outburst. You're not a
Oh.
witness that's been called on. I'm
What?
gonna go ahead and impose sanctions in the amount of $120,000 to be paid at the end of court.
The fuck?
All right, you may continue your direct examination, counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So
Amari,
you-
just to clarify, were you present at the time of the incidents or otherwise involved in the events that took place in the evidence?
Yes, I was.
I shall perform emergency CPR on this man outside.
All right. Can you describe what you witnessed or experienced firsthand during the incident?
So I was running from the police, which I should have not done, thinking about it now. And once I got into the parking lot, I had no intent of harming anyone the whole time while I was running. And once I took a turn, next thing I know, in a blink of an eye, I was brutally struck by a vehicle which was being drove by a cadet, which should never happen. Cadet should always be driven by a FTO trainer. Once I got struck, I did a little turn. My body slid brutally across the concrete, giving me very serious injuries that I have to try and recover from the rest of my life. Might not be able to recover from many of them. That's all.
All right, thank
Oh,
you.
and let me add the fact that I had no time to get up before I was tased, and my body hit the concrete hard again on the ground.
Okay, thank you. Can you confirm that the documents or materials you are aware of are authentic and an accurate representation of the facts?
Yes.
Do you have a clear recollection of the events and circumstances surrounding the incident?
Looking back at the footage, I can see, kind of remember what happened, but it's all really blurry from once my head struck the ground.
Understood. Okay. And have you discussed the evidence and your testimony with your attorney in preparation for this trial?
Yes, I have.
And in the courtroom right now, can you identify that the police cadet that violated your rights is present with us in the courtroom today? And can you identify him with an outfit that he's wearing?
No, I do not see him here today.
Okay. And how has this incident affected your everyday life, Amari?
It's very hard to walk. Feels like I'm walking on glass on my left leg. Like my leg is shattered. Hurts me very much when I wake up. I don't even want to continue with my day. Just want to stay laying in bed.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Is there anything else you want to add that we haven't yet covered?
No, there's not.
All right. No further questions for Amari, Your Honor.
Understood. If opposing counsel would like to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, sir. I would like to cross-examine him.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amari, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, Amari. I'm doing well. Look, we're here on unfortunate circumstances, but I do have a series of questions for you if you mind telling the truth, but nothing but the truth. And I find that already at the beginning of this witness stand, they were having a hard time doing that.
What are you talking about? If you say so, Bear.
You said that you are a working man. You described yourself as a working man. Would you describe yourself as anything else other than a working good man of this city?
No, I'm a hardworking man. I like all my jobs. I'm a hardworking man.
And now, when you say a hardworking man, do you mean a hardworking man at committing criminal activities and crimes?
No, sir. I mean at my jobs that I listed. If you were listening at the beginning of
I
courts.
was, and thank you for calling that to my attention because I also had the owner of White Widow that was claiming that you are not a worker at White Widow.
I was hired by Mike Oxlone,
Mm-hmm.
and I do work there.
You do work
So,
there, okay.
yes.
And what has your criminal past been like in this city, Amari?
Objection,
let-
relevance, Your Honor.
It's not relevancy, Your Honor. I'm asking for the relevancy of all crimes committed in the footage and making sure that this man is very upfront and honest about who he is. He's making a personal claim that he's a good man, a working man. I'm asking about his criminal past.
The court, while the court does find that while under normal circumstances criminal past isn't relevant, especially in a criminal trial, Counselor, you've opened the door to his character as being an element of this case. Since you opened this door, I'm going to have to overrule on your objection and allow the counselor to delve into his side of the elements of the character of the plaintiff here.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amari, I have a series of questions, like I said, and I understand that you are a working man of businesses that you may or may not work at. I don't know. We don't know right now. But I do know something, is that you're not just a working man, Amari. You're not just a good guy in a suit right now wearing that. I believe this is all an act that you're trying to tell the jury in the courtroom here today. And I have a very big problem with that. To your knowledge, how many criminal convictions have you had?
I'm not sure.
I have them right in front of me, and that's good that you don't remember. There must be so many that you do not remember. I remember the first time that I was, ever even encountered police. I was very scared. So, I mean, it must have happened so many times that you don't remember. I have over 15 criminal counts.
Objection. Assumes facts, not in evidence.
I have over 15 criminal counts in front of me from the Los Santos Police Department.
Objection, Counselor, objection sustained. This was not entered into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of his criminal past?
Nope.
The specific records cannot be referenced as they're not in the evidence table.
Your Honor, may I bring up what he has been arrested for, not specifically anything other than just the crime itself?
You may question him on it.
Beautiful. Amar, have you ever been arrested or convicted for reckless driving and reckless evading?
I believe I have.
Have you ever been arrested or convicted for hostage taking?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been arrested or convicted for robbery?
If I'm thinking correctly, I have.
And now a follow-up question to the robbery. You say you're a good working man. You have never happened to rob any of the stores you work at, correct?
Never would do that.
Good to know. You like robbing other businesses. I understand. Have you ever been convicted or suspected of armed robbery, resisting arrest, criminal threats, brandishing a weapon, murder of a government official, possession of illegal weapon modifications, and even first-degree murder?
Objection, compound question.
I will ask again. Have you ever been convicted of first-degree murder, Mr. Amari?
I'm not sure what my record's looking like, but I may have.
Amari, let me ask you a question. And I'm going to ask this again. I think someone should know if they've been arrested and convicted of first-degree murder.
When the cadet ran my head over, I kind of forgot a lot of things, so maybe I don't know.
And I think this is a problem here. Amari, you're claiming to be a lot of things that are very convenient for you. And in this footage, I have you driving all over the streets of Los Santos. And no different than your prior convictions, you were willing to do more. And just the same that you've already done. Now, I think Los Santos Police Department was taking you at a high risk, and you're a very high risk to this city. As you may be a good working man, you're also a criminal. And we know this. You've been
Objection,
convicted for
narrative.
over
Can we get
15.
to the point, please?
Objection.
I'm not.
Objection sustained. You're questioning the witness not making a narrative statement, counselor.
What I would like to know was what was your intention of getting away and driving as you were driving?
Can you repeat that, please?
I would like to know what your intention was on getting away. Why were you trying to get away, Amari?
I really can't tell you what the reason was. I don't know what's going through my head at the time.
And you think it's okay to just drive however you want to drive with no consideration for human life in Los Santos?
I never said that.
Well, your actions show me that, and it shows the courtroom that. Your prior convictions have shown me that, and it showed the courtroom that. I think there's a trend here, Mr. Amari. So I'm going to ask you a question again, and I think you know the answer. Do you think it's okay to act and commit crimes in the way you did in that video and repeat them again and again and again?
No, I don't think it's okay at all.
My questioning's done here, Your Honor.
Understood. Would the plaintiff counsel like a redirect, or is the witness good?
I believe the witness is good.
All right. Thank you for your time, Mr. Amari. You may take your seat. Plaintiff, what's your next witness to be called?
I would like to call up Dr. Rick McTator to the stand, please.
All right. If Dr. McTator, MD, would like to approach.
Ooh, Ricky.
Yes, of course, Your Honor.
Understood.
You have a spider.
Understood. For the courtroom, I need to give special instruction to the doctor outside of audible hearing of the court.
Ricky, can you hear me? Yes, I can. The Viagras you prescribed me, they're not working. Is there any way for me to get the name brand ones? These generics, they're not doing the job. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. You just gotta...
What kind of Viagra
Okay,
is it?
Okay. Counselor, well, actually, bailiff, if you'll swear the witness in, and then counselor may begin direct questioning.
Also, Judge, he needs permission to speak in the Discordia.
Thank you very much. And that is...
That guy over there, 007.
Thank you. Alright, you should be able to speak now.
Alright, so what's your name, sir?
My name is Dr. Rick McTator, sir.
So, Mr. Rick McTator, do you swear to tell the truth but nothing but the truth? So may God help you?
I do.
Alright.
You may begin your direct examination. Oh,
you're talking in game there.
Yep, sorry, yep.
No, I'm talking to Rick. Talking in game. Gotta...
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, make sure you're just talking the call.
I'm sorry, what is that?
You're speaking inside GTA and Discord. You just need to unmute yourself.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so just the Discordia?
Yep.
Very good, okay.
Are we good? Rick? Rick McTator? You there?
Yes, I am. I can't hear you very well, but I'm good. Can you speak a little louder for me?
Yes, I can. Is it better for you?
Yes, it's better.
Okay. If I'm still too quiet, you can always turn me up from your side as well. Rick, let me just start off and say thank you so much for showing up today. I really appreciate it, and I will pay your duties after the end of the day today. To start out, can you please state your full name and professional title for the record?
Well, of course. My name is Dr. Rick McTator, and I am one of the medical directors at the Great Ocean Hospital.
Amazing. And are you licensed to practice medicine in Los Santos, California?
Oh, yes, I am. I have been for 13 years.
That's amazing. My next question was actually, how many years have you been practicing medicine as a doctor?
Well, 13 years, Your Honor.
Amazing. Did you personally evaluate and treat my client named Amari Williams?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Based on your evaluation of my patient, what was your diagnosis?
Oh well, there were many diagnoses that came out of that. I'd have to go through them a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, if you would like to do that, that would be amazing. From what you can recall, of course.
Well, of course. From what I can recall, the patient, Mr. Williams, came in for an examination. At that point, we always like to try to evaluate them visually when they walk in, and I noticed right away that Mr. Amari had a certain limp while he was walking in. After that, we started the actual examination. My observations at first was that Mr. Williams is a well-developed, well-nourished male that appeared healthy upon examination. When he came in and talking to him, but the examination of it slowly started showing me that there's signs of structural damage and things like that. Now, behavioral wise, he was very pleasant, very cooperative, very attentive. He was able to keep up with what I was asking him and things like that. So neurologically, we didn't see anything there. He appeared comfortable, but he did have to lay on his side the whole time because he had a very large amount of pain, and that was on the left side or the right side when he was lying down. In the standing neutral position, he had no problems with his cervical, thoracics, and lumbars. Those were well maintained, but his gait was not normal, as I said before, as he was walking in. So I took a little look at that, and he had a very, very, very strong limp when walking on his left leg, and presented pain when I asked him that he described as a level of 8 on 10. So we dived into that a little bit more. Now, several examinations, as I said, we dug into that a little bit more. We conducted those examinations. I conducted those examinations in order to evaluate the extent of the permanent damage. So I decided to go from the head to the feet here to make sure that everything was covered. When I inspected Mr. Williams' heads, I found that there were contusions that were located around the left temple and the eye, which worried me. So I wanted to verify the levels that might have been conducive to a concussion with what he had suffered. So I used a pen light, which was used to verify the reaction dilation of the pupils. And I noticed that the left pupil had a different reaction time than the right pupil. I also noticed that there was a difference in the dilation of the pupils in about 3 millimeters, which is conclusive with the suffering of a concussion to the head. So that was the first thing that I noticed here in my diagnosis, that the head did take a very good beating that day. The neck was also inspected, and contusions. I did find contusions on the left side of that neck that could be conclusive to whiplash from a high velocity impact. When you have to understand that when a vehicle hits a human being, when they're on foot, it sends an extreme amount of kinetic energy through the person's spine. Which that energy, as we all know, as you know, energy does not dissipate. So that energy has to leave the body somewhere, kind of like a shock of electricity, and it often leaves through the last exit point, which is the neck in this point, which causes the phenomenon of whiplash, which we hear of. Now, I then proceeded to go towards the lower body. It is important to know that in Mr. Amari's records here at the hospital, which I verified, he had already come in for gunshots to the abdomen, but there were no permanent lesions that were or consequences that came out of that. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't have anything going on beforehand, and once that was established, then we could look at him, and he didn't have anything going on before. So after inspecting the lower half of the body, that's where I noticed most of the damage here in the diagnoses here. Looking at that, I inspected and noticed many scars and cuts to the lower body. Mr. Williams was asked to, once I inspected that, I noticed that he had, most of them were concentrated on the left side,
but he did have some going down the right side and on the inner part of his thighs. The calves and the shins were also very, very messed up. Lots of not scars. I'm sorry, but lots of contusions, lots of cuts and scrapes going on there. So once I did that visually, I noticed that the event had happened a couple of days before. So I noticed that there was some healing starting to appear there. But there was still a very large amount of pain that was presented by Mr. Williams. I then asked them to because I did talk about the gait before, which worried me. So I asked them to walk for me and so that I could visually inspect, especially the left side, and I could visibly see visually that there was pain through his gait and facial expression there as he was walking, which showed me that there was a good amount of pain there coming out of that limb. So I asked him. We did the first test there, which was the walking test, which the pain once again was about an 8 out of 10 when I asked him. Afterwards, I asked him to lay back on the bed to give him a little bit of a rest, and after a couple of minutes, I asked him to do what we call the flutter test in the industry. That is basically we're going to ask the patient to flutter his legs, and we'll look at the balance of the legs, see if they move together, see if one leg is stronger visually and physically than the other one. So I made him lay on his back and had him do that. And at the first flutter that we had, I had a faint scream come out of Mr. Williams and a stopping of the movement. When I asked him how much his pain was at, he gave me a pain threshold here of 7 on 10. Which is a very large amount for a flutter test. I mean, anybody can do that. You could ask a child to do that, and they'll easily do it. You could ask an elderly person to do, and they'll be easily able to do this. I then proceeded with a function test because a lot of the damage were to the genitals. So I wanted to make sure that the functions of the genitals were not affected. So we proceeded to a urination test where Mr. Williams was asked to go to the bathroom and provide. He wasn't asked to provide a urine sample. I just wanted to make sure that he would evaluate the pain or any lack of functions going on while urinating. He did so and reported a pain of about 8 on 10 once again, which is excruciating in a case of urinating when you're talking about a daily need here, like urination. Now this is the part that might be a little bit more embarrassing to Mr. Williams, but it is part of the future handicap that he is going to present. I then asked him in the privacy of the washroom, of course, to try to get his genitalia erect. And he was unfortunately not able to do so he was not able to do so at all. Now that worried me very much, so I asked him to lay back down to verify with the use of a digiscanner that can also be used as an ultrasound device to make sure and verify the structural integrity of the scrotum. And it was while running the DigiScam, it was I did not identify anything. The only thing that I did identify left in the scrotum were shards of what used to be two walnuts. The best example that I could give in simple terms is that his testicles will basically Hiroshima, Nagasaki. They just went kablooey. So that was very unfortunate there. So of course that based upon that, there is definitely a reasonable degree of medical certainty that there is a causal relationship here between the loss of genital function and the reported injury, especially that the Mr. Williams' attorney presented to me the body cam footage that was presented in evidence before that, and from a medical standpoint, I went and ran a little bit of an analysis on that video, and there are clearly timestamps where I can see. I'm going out of memory here, but there's clearly timestamps in that video where I can see that the injuries appear, especially when we see Mr. Williams running down the walkway there. and the impact that arrives on the left side of his body, and then we see the body rolling around on the floor and hitting his head. Those are very much a conclusive also with what Mr. Williams presented when he presented to my emergency room. That being said, that brings us to an MMI, which is defined as the date after which further recovery and restoration of a function on a body after an injury can no longer be anticipated. And I believe for Mr. Williams at this point, when it comes to the genitalia, we have hit that date. There will be no more recuperation for that. And permanent impairment evaluation was performed in this case in accordance with the AMA guides to the evaluation of permanent impairment, 6th edition, and I have to tell you that there's no way that Mr. Williams is going to be recuperating any function of the testicles. The other thing is that we do have a very large impact to the gait. The way that Mr. William walks has been modified probably by the impact of the vehicle that modified the hip biomechanics and impacted the spine when he was thrown to his side there. So my diagnosis is that he will have a disability that will be permanent. So he will require a surgical procedure that might not be a complete success and might leave permanent impacts afterwards. But he will need a heel lift of perhaps about a 1.5 centimeters on one side. And he will also need implants that are not a guaranteed success and that are purely cosmetic to actually get a feeling of normality. And apart from that, there is no treatment that can be done to replace the other parts here of Mr. Williams' body. And that would resume the diagnosis that we had at this time.
Okay. I can't believe that all happened to my client just from a little, bump and from a car, It's crazy what can happen. Can you confirm in your diagnosis that Amari Williams can never have children ever again?
Oh, I can definitely confirm, Your Honor, that Mr. Williams will not be reproducing.
Understood. Based on your expertise and experience, do you have an opinion regarding the cause of your patient's condition?
Well, after having inspected Mr. Williams physically through the exam visually, and after having seen the video evidence, I can, from a medical standpoint, I can definitely conclude that the impact from the high velocity from the vehicle that was slowing down but still circulating at a high velocity did cause a high velocity impact. And all the injuries sustained by Mr. Williams are indicative of a high velocity impact, where a vehicle, basically a vehicle versus a pedestrian.
Understood. Is there anything else you would like to add that we haven't yet covered?
No, I believe that from a medical standpoint, I believe that covers it all.
Okay. And are you prepared to answer questions from the opposing counsel regarding your testimony?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Understood. LSPD counsel, if you'd like to approach and cross-examine.
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening, Doctor. How are you?
I'm very well. Good evening.
Pleasure to finally meet you. My name is Vinny Vegeta. I just had a couple questions for you. Mine's going to be much shorter than what you have previously been asked. Doctor, what are, in your expertise of 13 years, what are some injuries that you have seen when a car is driving 70 miles an hour, running people over?
The injuries can be varied. There are mostly the largest injuries that we see are to the spine.
At 70 miles an hour, correct?
It can be at 70 miles per hour. It can be
And
a
can
lower.
that lead to death, Doctor?
Pardon me?
Relevance? It's not a part of the case.
It is a part of the case, Your Honor. I'm getting to that.
Sidebar counselors, approach. Alright. Make sure you're not speaking in Discordia. What are you getting to, Mr. Vegeta? What's the relevance of this to the case? Mr. Vegeta?
I
Can you
think
hear
he
me?
can't. Yeah, I think he's fixing his
Oh yeah.
voice
Yeah,
and
you can hear
settings.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What I'm getting to is that on the footage, Amari is driving 70 miles an hour down a sidewalk. I want to ask the doctor that if he were to hit someone, what would be the injuries then?
That's not relevant to what actually happened, though.
It is relevant.
No, because he didn't hit anybody.
It's the possibility of him doing that and putting other people's dangers in lives. This is all about character. This is a civil case. You are making this about his character. This is your whole stand. Is making it. He opened up as a character. He has talked about a character. You've made it sound like he's going to be a father. This is all about character at the end of the day. And it's not about what happened. It's also about what happened between point A and point B. And we are failing to realize in a civil case negligence on both parties, including Amari's.
I understand, but can we keep the narrative a little bit, smaller?
The narrative is
please?
what you made it.
No, I'm saying like when you ask questions, can we just get direct?
Well, I mean, we have to ask one way or another. We got to get there. I'm not going to just straight up ask him. I need to ask his expertise first. I'd rather hit a grand slam and have all bases loaded than just hit a solo home run, Miss Rose.
I got you. Are you intending to voir dire the witnesses' credibility? Or
No,
are you...
I'm intending to show the court that the negligence of Amari could have been much, much outweighed and caused death compared to LSPD's accident.
Both Amari and LSPD were driving recklessly in the clip.
I can see how the potential injuries could weigh in the decision to strike him with the vehicle, so by a very narrow margin, I'm going to go ahead and overrule the objection and allow it, but you don't have a lot of leeway here, Mr. Vegeta. Keep it concise.
I understand. Thank you, Your Honor.
Alright,
Thank
we'll
you,
give
Your
you a
Honor.
second to fix it. Alright, objection is overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. As I was saying, Doctor.
Yes.
A car going 70 miles an hour can kill someone, correct? If struck, let's say, on a civilian sidewalk.
Correct.
In the footage that we saw earlier, did you see the speedometer of Amari's car?
No, I did not.
It was going 70 miles an hour on the sidewalk. Now, would the injuries be much higher and much worse to an innocent civilian on a sidewalk compared to Amari's?
Well, that is very, very hard to say. We're talking very hypothetically here, and they're both
Sure,
no accident. In
right.
13 years of practice, so Your Honor, if I can answer this like this, I have never seen a vehicle accident be this, give out the same injuries on one given person.
Sure, I understand that. But would you say, in your expert opinion, 70 miles an hour hits this innocent civilian, regardless of where out on the body? What does that result in a lot of times? You said spinal injuries.
Those injuries will be major to deadly.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Nope. Is the defendant back?
I'm back.
Mr. Mart. All right. Welcome back. Were you did you hear the questioning of the witnesses?
No, sir, I did not.
I got you. They went over a cross-examination based on the potential injuries that could have been sustained.
By your driving.
Snippet, bro.
Excuse me?
My bad, I had a hiccup.
All right. So Miss Parks, do you want to redirect?
No, I am okay with Dr. McTater stepping down.
Understood. Dr. McTater, we appreciate you for your time, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the case, sir.
Well, thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
Ooh, Ricky!
What was it, Mr. Vegeta?
I was telling the doctor thank you for his time.
Ah, gotcha.
You're very welcome.
All right. Miss Parks, your next witness.
So unfortunately, my next witness was supposed to be the cadet that was a part of this whole incident, but currently he's not here. I'm not sure if I could get a police officer to attest for him, or if that's
Understand.
possible.
Was this cadet served summons? Was he notified of court by you?
He should have been by his police officers.
No, that is objection, Your Honor. That is not their job as colleagues to notify another colleague.
He was
of summoning to court.
aware that it was going to court.
You can be aware. There was no formal letter. I know of this.
I gotcha. If he's not been formally given notice by you, we would be able to get an officer to forcibly bring him here. Is the PD have access to see if he's going to come willingly?
He was here earlier. I don't know. I didn't know he was going to leave.
Your Honor, if I may, it is
Yeah.
very apparent that Miss Rose is not prepared to question the cadet. If she was, she would have sent him a very formal summon letter, and that was not done. I think it's a big waste of time, as this case has already been delayed days. And in the best interest of both parties, I think we should continue on the case and not make a circus of trying to track down an officer and allowing other officers to do that without any type of formal notice.
Can we remember why you're here? Because PD was not prepared and has gone through 2 lawyers already.
PD was late, buddy.
All right. We're going to go ahead and continue the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Miss Rose, if you'd like to finish out your oral arguments over the witnesses and the evidence.
I have no more witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Vegeta or Mr. Freeman, if you'd like to begin your your examination of the evidence and your calling of your witnesses.
Yeah, I'd like to call Amari to the stand again.
All right. Mr. Amari, if you'd like to come back to the stand.
In the meantime, I am going to present evidence from the video, the same video that Miss Rose shared.
Understood. And bailiff, while he readies that, if you'll swear in the witness.
So what's your name again?
Amari Williams.
I'm Mr. Amari Williams. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so may God help you?
Yes, sir, I swear.
Alright.
Mr. Amari, do you have access to be able to see the footage I am presenting in your second eyes?
I'm watching.
Beautiful. Is this you in this car, Amari?
Yes.
You can positively identify that as you. Beautiful. In this clip, body cam footage of yours, are you already driving on the wrong side of the lane here?
That's what it appears to look like.
And before this, can you tell me what in the court, what had happened that had led up to you running from police on the wrong side of the road with 15 prior convictions already under your belt? What led this to happen to possibly be your 16th?
Objection, since facts not in evidence. Also, lady question.
Your Honor, I can rephrase the question. What happened that led up to this before with having you lead up to 60, 70 miles an hour?
Again, objection assumes facts not in evidence.
I'm asking pure regards to what happened before.
Objection overruled, I believe he's asking to the information that the witness may have knowledge of.
Amari, please.
I don't recall.
Okay. And Amari, you see that is you driving on a civilian sidewalk at 40, leading up to 50 miles an hour, correct?
That no civilians are on. Yeah.
Luckily, right? Right. Amari, you don't want to kill anybody, correct? I mean, I want to hear luckily yes or luckily no.
I would never want to harm anyone.
You would never want to harm anyone, but you have harmed someone before, Amari. We know that's not true.
Objection, leading question.
No, not leading question, Your Honor. The witness stated incorrect fact that we know of. Amari, you said that you would never want to harm anyone. We know that's not true.
It is true. I just said it.
But we know that's not true because you have harmed someone before, correct? On the stand,
Continue with the video.
On the stand 15 minutes ago, you claimed that you have been convicted of first-degree murder to the best of your knowledge while on stand, correct?
Yeah.
And right now, you just said that you would never want to harm anyone.
Mistakes happen.
First-degree murder is a mistake, Amari? We'll
Yeah,
carry on
it's
with
a
the video.
mistake.
Proceed to flip a U and drive back the other way with the intention of getting away. Almost hitting a civilian right there. Luckily, you did not, as we were saying.
I was far away. But whatever.
Now, Amari, did you work this day? Did you go to work this day?
Objection, relevance.
Nope, just asking about the time and day.
Objection sustained. I don't see the relevance to previous working activity.
To second, third, stopped on second floor. I believe he's stepping off.
You decided to run right here, Amari. Tell me why.
Scared.
Scared of what?
Objection, leading question.
Objection overruled. I do believe he's continuing off the previous question.
Amari, what were you scared of?
Didn't want to go to jail again.
I understand. Amari, did you have a gun on you at this time?
I don't remember.
You do not remember.
Nope.
Well, luckily we do. And you did have a firearm on you. Could that be the reason that you were scared and running for your life? Or running from the police? Why did you have a firearm without a license that was active at the time?
Self-defense.
Self-defense. Now, self-defense reasons would be no issue of getting a license, correct? Why would you not get a license for self-defense weapon usage?
I don't know.
Or is it because you are already a felon? You weren't thinking about it. See, Amari, I'm noticing a trend in your actions, in your motivations. There's a lot of negligence going on.
Objection,
it seems to be an issue that continues on of negligent driving, negligence in running, and negligence in not even stopping for police.
Counselor, I sustained the objection. The time for arguments is later. Right now is for questioning.
Of course, Your Honor. You had every opportunity here to stop, correct, Amari?
What?
Would you say you had every opportunity here to stop and put your hands up?
If you think of it that way.
That was not the question. I'm asking you. So I'll ask a question if you are confused by the question. Do you believe that you had every opportunity to stop and put your hands up in this situation?
No.
You don't?
No.
You don't believe that you had every opportunity to stop and...
probably would have got tased to the gun.
You probably would have.
To the ground
You probably would have.
Cadet. Those FTOs aren't doing their job. As you've seen at the end of the video.
I see a lot of
Watch.
you running, Amari.
Let's skip to the end of the video.
We're getting there.
This guy.
Right here, you can see this officer doesn't look like he has anything in his hand ready to shoot you. Ready to shoot you with the
He never
taser.
told me to stop either.
Well, do you know what lights mean when you're being chased by a police car?
Objection.
Did you not
relevant?
know? No, it's not relevant. That's no. Amari, do you know that you were trying to be detained in this footage? How about that? So that way Rose can feel better about this.
What does this officer have to do with what the other officer did, which was excessive use of force, which is what the case is about?
Your Honor, I think I am doing the questioning here. If there's an overruled or objection, sustained or overruled, I'd like to hear it from you. That way I can continue all of my questioning.
I'm going to go ahead and overrule, but this better be leading to the nature of this.
Of course. Amari, would you say you had every opportunity to stop?
No.
I find this hard to believe. On my camera right here, you can visibly see a police officer in front of you, and you fail again to not put your hands up, correct? There's no narrative. This is factual. This is the evidence we're looking at. Amari,
Go ahead
did you have
and rephrase
confused, Honor, why this is becoming an issue? Okay. Amari, there was a officer in front of you. Why did you not stop and put your hands up here? When you knew you were being chased.
My hands up.
So you were completely unaware that you were being chased and wanted and to be detained and questioned by the police.
Unaware, and I'll play the video.
Say that one more time.
Play the video, please.
I don't know if I got my answer.
I said unaware.
You are aware? I can't hear you.
No, unaware.
You were unaware.
I am aware.
Interesting. Okay. He was unaware, court, that he was being chased by police, but had every intention on running with a gun. Okay. Still, at this time, he has zero awareness that he's being chased. Still zero awareness here, Amari, right?
Objection narrative.
I'm using his words, lawyer.
You just need to ask questions.
And I'm asking, Amari, were you still zero aware?
Mr. Vegeta, if you're going to phrase a question, phrase it as a question and not as a statement.
Amari, were you unaware at this time still?
Unaware. Stop.
And right there. This is where you're hit, correct?
That's what happened.
That is what happened. You're right. It's on the footage. I also saw a lot of other things on the footage that you had the opportunity to stop.
I never used any type of force either.
Put your hands up and obey the law. Is obeying the law something that you have a hard time doing in this city, Amari?
Objection leading question.
Amari, has it been a difficult proposition for you to even try obeying the law?
Objection relevance.
Amari, is it tough for you to obey the law in this city?
No.
This whole footage that I have, with the relevant questions that I have asked you in the previous cross-examination.
It was a mistake I made.
You've made a lot of mistakes, from what it sounds like, and you still haven't learned from them. Would you say that you have learned from your mistakes, Amari?
Objection sustained. Again, Counselor Vegeta, phrase it as a question. Don't proposition of information that's not already been established in the line of question.
Amari, have you learned from your prior 15 criminal convictions?
I've learned.
Would you say you learned during this situation or before or after?
Objection leading question.
Could you restate?
I was asking the question.
Counselor?
Yeah. Amari, when have you learned to not continue repeating mistakes?
This crime. I learned to better myself.
I hope to see no more negligent acts from you, Amari. I'm sorry for your injuries. I do believe
Sure,
that
you are.
you had every chance to stop.
Yeah, the fuck.
Excuse me?
Hiccup.
Your Honor, I think that this client has had many outbursts in court that I'd like to call attention to. I want to question his mental stability in this courtroom, or even possibly have him held in contempt of court. I don't know if this continues to be a problem.
This is the second time I've heard vulgar language used. Mr. Amari, please avoid using such language and keep court decor.
Yeah,
This
I'm
should be
sorry.
another mistake that you learn from as well, Mari.
Oh my gosh.
That's it,
Mr.
Your Honor.
All right. Could you go ahead and stop sharing the video of the court? All right. The plaintiff's counsel, would you like to cross-examine the witness? Never
Yes,
thought
Your
I'd say
Honor.
that in my whole life. Thank you very much.
Amari,
Yes.
you understand that what you have done in the clip is not okay under the Los Santos rules or laws and statutes.
Yes, I'm aware.
And how Mr. Vinny here was explaining, but did you feel that he didn't actually give you, he didn't show the actual rest of the clip? Do you feel that was fair?
Not fair at all.
Do you feel that Mr. Vinny did not show the entire clip to
Yes.
accurately reflect what happened?
Yes.
Can you explain to the courtroom that your actions were unlawful? Yes, but the actions of the officer were even more unlawful and go against what he is positioned to do, which is protect and to serve the community.
Yes, he had no reason to strike me with the vehicle. After I used no force at all.
Now, Vinny didn't show this in his evidence, but you were tased, correct? After you were struck with the vehicle?
Yes, without a warning or any chance to get up.
And how did that make you feel?
Even more worse.
And after you were tased, what happened?
I was immediately cuffed.
Were you given the chance to get up off the ground and recover from the tase?
No.
Okay. No more questions, Your Honor.
I would like to say something.
Yeah.
I was never...
Mr. Amari, you'd have to step from the witness stand. You could approach the bench to make an oral argument, but I would advise to run it by your counsel first, but it's completely up to you, sir.
Okay.
If you feel that it needs to be said, Amari, go ahead.
So I'll step down to the
Yeah,
thingy,
to the
witness
center
stand?
bit. Yes, sir. Right to that center one right there.
Ugh. Okay, guys, I just want you to know something. This whole time that I was being brutally hurt, and this whole time that they were arresting me and tasing me and doing all these things, bad things to me, that I feel like cops should do to a civilian of Los Santos. I got transported to PD, placed in the car after I got my medical attention, of course. I was never read my rights this whole time.
Objection, Your Honor. Where's the evidence on this? There's no evidence here. That was a submitted additional evidence.
Objections sustained. I don't feel the nature of a potential due process violation could relate to an injury case.
But please, Amari, if you'd like to make this a criminal case, go ahead, stay up there.
Amari, do you have anything else to say?
Oh, I was muted. No, nothing else to say.
Understood. Mr. Vegeta, are there any witnesses you'd like to call to the stand now?
Yes, I would like to call the doctor that gave his medical diagnosis back up to the stand, please.
Understood. Is Mr. McTater still in the audience?
He is. Does he still have the permission to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. If you'd like to approach the bench, sir.
Of course, Your Honor.
And bailiff, we will have to swear him in again. Bailiff.
Bailiff, would you please swear in the witness, sir?
Is he asleep?
Sleeping on the job.
Sometimes you gotta do things yourself.
Yeah, you can see PD right away.
Sir! Please wake up! The court requires some services, sir! Sir!
Dear heavens!
Judge.
Medical examiner, I think this man's having
a
a medical
Judge, I can
episode.
do it. Judge, I
Please,
can do
no,
it.
no, we need to check this man. He's completely unresponsive. Is he okay? I think he's having some
Judge.
kind of medical emergency. He's completely unconscious. Dear heavens.
Judge, he stepped out ahead for a second.
Okay.
It was very much also not needed. You just screamed in my eardrums. I may have to press charges for you violating my eardrums.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth under the threat of perjury.
Yeah, I do, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm not the honor, but I appreciate that.
Doctor, thank you for your time again.
Yes, of course.
I have a couple questions for you. I want to start with your 13 years of experience.
Of course.
In 13 years, do you have an estimate? And it doesn't have to be exact, but a rough one, right? Is it more than 100? Is it more than 300 of cases of which a civilian or a human body was struck by a car?
Oh, I could give you a rough estimate.
That's what I asked. Yeah, that's all I'm looking for.
Probably in the thousands. I've
In the
worked in the
thousands.
emergency room for a long time.
And you would say that's something you're very well equipped to study, to examine. Full range of experience with that. You've seen it all.
Well, you've never seen it all in my field, but I am comfortable intervening in the matter if that's what you mean.
And out of thousands, we'll say, is it more than 1,000?
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be very many.
Would you say it's more than 2,000?
Objection leading.
I'm just asking for a number, a rough estimate.
Well, as I said in the thousands, but I can't give you a number.
I'm gonna go ahead and sustain
That's fine.
the objection since it's a direct examination now.
In your previous cross-examination, you made a statement that you had not seen these levels of injuries in this type of strike. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Out of thousands, you've never seen any injuries like these.
Well, we're talking about circumstances that are very particular here.
And what would those be?
Well, the way the impact is produced, I've never seen an impact like this. I have never seen an impact in a parking garage with somebody running down in a flight level being impacted by the rear by a
Running
vehicle.
down is
Yes.
not necessarily how that happened. Getting hit by a car and getting run down is a little bit. I think in your space and where you're at on your stand, we'd like you to use medical terms. So being struck.
Oh no,
by a
I did not.
vehicle.
I did not mean. I'm sorry, that was misinterpreted. I did not mean he was ran down. I said he was running down the ramp.
Oh, I understand.
So he has a negative angle. He's going down. So already there, he has a velocity. And if we know about gravity, well, he's already going towards somewhere that's not good if you know how gravity works.
Sure.
And then having a vehicle impact him like that. No, I have never seen an accident in this sort, sir.
Now, would you say Mr. Amari running his flee from the officer was a factor in this injury level?
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
When he was running away, right? In the footage that I brought up, and that was brought up also by Rose, he's running away, right?
Yes.
And do you believe that him running away was a factor in this?
I do not believe that it was a factor. I believe that the person driving the vehicle should have been trained to, and this is from a medical standpoint, because the police force are called to intervene as first responders on calls, should have known enough not to strike somebody on the side of the body like that, especially going down a ramp like that.
And now in the footage, you do see Amari make a swift left turn with his body at the time of impact, correct?
Yes, you do.
Do you still then believe that the officer intentionally hit him?
I do not
Objection,
believe
leading
the officer.
question.
The witness answer the question. Continue, witness, please.
I do not.
Hold on. What's the specific grounds for the objection, Miss Parks?
I guess the witness, he doesn't know.
No, that's not a valid objection, Your Honor. That is not a valid objection. The witness just claimed that he should not have done something based off of city limits. So I'm also asking, does he think that he was intentionally trying to hit him? That is a straightforward question, Your Honor.
If I may,
You already said no. You already said no.
I don't. No, I did not say no. I said that I don't. That's what I would start it. I said I don't. I don't think that it is my place to evaluate that per se. In my own opinion, as a citizen and as a medical expert, do I think that that police officer should have had enough judgment to maybe drive safely and not drive that close to Mr. Williams, close enough to impact him with a high velocity moving object? I think he should have known that.
And now, doctor, do you believe that Amari's body position in which he turned while running down the ramp accelerated his injuries, made him much worse?
I do not believe that.
So if he would have continued running straight,
vehicle hitting him caused the injuries and caused the
Do you believe
kinetic
that it
energy that made him
accelerated?
fly.
But doctor, do you believe that it accelerated his injuries, made him far worse?
No, I do not believe that.
So if he would have kept running straight, you believe that his injuries would have continued to stay the same?
I believe that straight left or right being hit by a vehicle will cause the impacts and the conclusions and the diagnosis that were concluded in the way that he was impacted. If he had gone right and that vehicle had impacted it at that speed, he would have had probably similar injuries.
Your Honor, may I show evidence again of the clip?
I'll
To
allow it. Yeah.
cross-examine it.
Go ahead.
Doctor, let me know when you can see this evidence, please.
Of course. I am watching.
Okay. Right here, this is obviously the time in which Mr. Amari is running down the ramp. Would you say this is running in a straight line?
I believe so.
I would say so as well. And continuing to run in a straight line, correct? And he's running, fleeing. Right here, do you notice as a medical examiner and also body, I would say at this rate, doctor, you're almost a human body anatomy expert. You know change of direction of body. Would you say this is a slight change of direction here?
It is.
Now, once he gets clipped by the car, he still hasn't been clipped here, still has not been clipped until there, the side mirror. Do you believe, I'm going to ask this question again, do you believe that if he was running on the same straight trajectory that he was running on here, right here, that those injuries would have been just as bad if these two kept running in parallel?
Once again, as a medical examiner, I see a man running down the middle of the scene here, running down the middle of the tunnel. I do not believe that that officer should have tried the maneuver that he did. I believe that that maneuver was dangerous and was negligent towards the risk of, towards the life of the suspect who was running down the middle of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. But again, do you believe?
None of if he went left, right, or center. I believe that the officer should not have tried that maneuver.
So slight, quick movement of the body had nothing to do with his injuries being on the left side of his body.
I do not believe so, sir. I believe that the fact that the injuries on the left side of his body, or that the car hit him on the left side of his body.
Right. But this officer had no idea that he was going to do the swift left movement. Correct?
Well, I don't believe that Mr. Williams also had the idea that somebody was going to impact him by the rear or the left side of the vehicle.
But doctor, wouldn't you say he knew he was being chased? Wouldn't you say?
I agree.
Objection, speculation.
I'm asking for his opinion.
Objection sustained. I don't see the relevance of his opinion as being a medical examiner instead of a direct witness of the events.
I understand. And so I just want to end my questioning on this. After 13 years in the medical field, and as well as over thousands of vehicular accidents, bodily harm accidents from vehicle, you have never seen injuries like this.
Unfortunately, I have never seen injuries like this. To this extent.
I find that peculiar. Thank you, doctor. I appreciate it.
All right. And would Miss Parks, would you like to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, I would.
All right.
Rick, I just have one question for you.
Yes, of course.
As a medical professional, over your 13 years, have you ever seen someone in any accident have the same injuries as someone else?
No, I have never seen that.
Okay, thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. McTator, you may again be seated in the gallery, and we thank you again for coming up here and giving us your time and your valuable expert opinion.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
I might have taken 3 of those Viagra pills. How long until they wear off? They started working again.
Okay, well, make sure
They're working too much. I'm about to itch.
Do you have a blood pressure machine?
I don't. Okay.
Okay, well, make sure you go by the far. I'll send you one, okay? Because make sure you check your blood pressure so nothing pops.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right.
The actual.
So.
Oh my god.
So, we will move on to the next witness that Mr. Vegeta might have. Counselor Vegeta, do you have anyone else?
I do not.
Whoa! Who is this man in? Bailiff? Please
Bailiff,
keep them from
do you-
entering.
Bailiff is back.
Oh, for God's sake.
You woke up, yay!
Why, what's going on? I fell asleep. I genuinely just fell asleep.
I'd like to
I heard
state
someone
that
scream
the
bailiff.
bailiffs did in fact lock him out of the courtroom. Somebody did come back and re-let him
Bailiff,
back in.
did you just say that you fell asleep on the job?
Understood.
No, I said I fell deep into my thoughts.
Hey, Judge,
Yeah, I
can
felt
I
deep.
don't know.
All right.
Listen,
Order in the
defense,
court.
Can I hold him in contempt?
Order in the court. All right. Mr. Vegeta, would you like to call your next witness?
I do not have any at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Would you like to go into oral arguments then?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
Balaam, how about you guys do your jobs and have like fix this issue? Come on.
Your Honor, again, this is the third time of the outburst from the defendant.
I'm scared that there'll be.
I was in my head, alright? Stop hating.
Your Honor.
Mr. Amari, please keep any security concerns to yourself. The LSPD is an amazing branch, and they are bailiffing this court wonderfully.
Your Honor, first of all, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everyone's time in this courtroom. I want to end on this. This is a simple act of negligence. Amari has a long track record that is both suspected and convicted of numerous crimes, but not limited to first-degree murder, evading police, robbery, theft, possession of a firearm without a license multiple times, vehicular manslaughter. The list goes on and on with Amari. This situation is one of many. This one just was brought to court. This is one of the first times that Amari, the defendant over here,
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. What's going on right now?
I think he might be making his closing argument. This is just an argument over the evidence and the witness testimony.
No, I understand, but shouldn't I be going first?
I thought you said.
Actually, yes, you're completely right. I have made an error in judgment.
I mean, honor, come on now.
Actually,
why am I going
wait,
now?
no, hold on. She's got me. We're still in. He's in his examination. He's giving his argument over the evidence and the witnesses. It is his turn to go. Hold on. We're not at closing arguments at Ms. Parks.
Okay. Sorry, I was a little confused.
Yes. I believe he's covering
I'm
a bit
the
too
evidence
much
here.
into the closing argument and straying too much away from the evidence and the witnesses. Just give the oral arguments on the evidence and the witnesses, and then we'll get to closing arguments where you recap it all, Mr. Vegeta.
Okay. Apologies, Vinny.
All right, please continue.
No, I appreciate her saying something. Okay. In the footage, I want to say, Honor, that I believe that, or I don't believe. I mean, with Amari, there's a lot of things that were negligible on both sides of both LSPD and Amari. Both committed unfortunate series of circumstances. The footage speaks for itself. Both sides are in unfortunate positions here. But with the footage that was presented in evidence, I don't understand how LSPD is 100% liable here.
All right. I apologize about that interruption. We do have the ID of the individual who's uploaded that into our system, and once we match that with their identity, we will find whoever that individual was in contempt and fine them in the amount of $300,000. Please continue, Mr. Vegeta.
No, that's it for me, Your Honor.
All right. Well, we will now.
I don't even know what we missed.
We will now go into closing arguments. Ms. Parks, if you'd like to start.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so throughout this trial, we have heard my client was run over by a police vehicle, driven by a police cadet, tased while defenseless on the ground, and then immediately after, handcuffed without being given a chance to recover. These actions were not only excessive, but also grossly unconstitutional, violating my client's Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable seizures. And adding on, or not adding on, but how do I summarizing, I guess, from what Vinny's argument was just now. He does admit that PD was negligent to Amari. And the actions of LSPD on that night were blatant disregard for the sanctity of my client's rights. The Fourth Amendment exists to protect individuals from exactly this type of abuse of power, unlawful seizures, and excessive force by law enforcement. The LSPD's actions were not only unlawful, but also unjustifiable under any circumstance. My client's rights were violated, and justice demands accountability. I ask you to award compensatory damages to compensate my client for his losses, punitive damages to punish the LSPD for the misconduct, and incidental damages to cover the cost incurred as a result of the incident. The amount requested, again, $650,000, reflects the severity of the injuries and the need for meaningful accountability. To repeat the injuries, he had a head injury, a neck injury, I believe, from what I can recall, a spine injury, and the groin injury, meaning he will never have children again, just from this incident. In closing, I urge you to uphold justice, protect civil rights, and send a clear message that abuse of power will not be tolerated in our society. My client deserves justice, and it is within your power to deliver it. I ask you to render a verdict in favor of my client and reward the requested damages. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Honor.
Thank you. If the defense counsel would like to approach and make their closing argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for everyone being here today. I want to end on a couple points. Amari is not the man that he claimed to be at the beginning. A working man, a good man even at that. I don't consider anyone a good man that commits first-degree murder, theft, evading police, possession of a firearm, to be in any point at all considering of civilian lives and even LSPD lives. LSPD has also been the same people to help remove this gentleman, this criminal, off of the streets to keep everyone in this courtroom safe. I want everyone to take a seat as they're sitting down in this courtroom, and even yourself, Honor, to think about if your wife, if your kids were taking the bus that day, if your mom was walking down on Mother's Day on the sidewalk there, and you guys got a call that your mom has been ran over by a 15-time count murderer and killer and theft suspect. This is who we're dealing with here. We are not dealing with a character A civilian of Los Santos. Amari, my heart goes out to you, and I understand Rose and the doctor said that he can't ever have kids again. But I'm going to say what everyone else is thinking. I don't think Amari would be around to even raise his kids for how many crimes he's committed.
Racist.
He would be in jail for the rest of his life for the crimes that he's committed. That child would be without a father. I think what happened to Amari is unfortunate, but Amari had every chance and every opportunity to stop before they ever got into that parking garage. Amari had every chance and opportunity to stop, and every time he's been caught and convicted of every crime. If you think this is the last of Amari being in this courtroom trying to swindle $650,000 of taxpayers' money that's coming out of all of our hardworking income and our checks every year, you're rudely mistaken. That money that Amari could be getting would just be going to another weapon that he could kill an innocent civilian with, as he's done before. Amari had every chance to put his hands up. Amari had every chance to stop, comply. And he even had a gun on him and could have shot back at officers. LSPD is very familiar with Amari. And at the end of the day, you are responsible for what happens to the lead up to every event. And I believe Amari was fully responsible for running. Amari was fully responsible for being negligent and putting everyone and LSPD's lives at risk, and even his own. I would make the argument that Amari put his life at more risk than LSPD has ever put his life in risk. That is all.
Understood. The court will now go into recess. Oh my god! Oh! Oh, someone help him! Oh god, he's falling over!
Show me.
Oh! Oh, god! Oh! Medic! Medic! Help him! Alright, thank you very much. The court will now go into recess for the next 15 minutes while we deliberate. We will reconvene the court at 8:25 p.m. Central Standard, 9:25 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Holy fuck, I thought I got shot, Ronnie. Did I just fall? I'm good. Uncuffing doesn't do anything. I'm scuffed. I'm scuffed. No, I just need to be cuffed. And again, cuff me.
Oh, we are. That's right. Look at that. We're twinning.
Uncle Phil.
Right? Right?
Uncle
Okay,
Phil.
alright, Rose. Rose.
Uncle Phil.
I'll have your number in one. Rose. There we go. Girl, don't stress. You got it. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. You're doing great. You what? What? I mean, Ron, you're sitting right behind. You're literally sitting right behind her. Okay, you wouldn't shut up.
Uncle Phil.
I know it's Vinny something. I don't know. Vinny something. Yes. What? What? Oh, you're not. Yeah. What? Oh God.
Vinny Vagina.
Listen, Luke. If I have to have green hair, you have to be bald. Okay? That's just how it is. Just accept it. Just accept it. Okay? Nah. He's trying to match his dad. How cute. Make your dad proud. Oh God. Of course you did. Of course you did. 6. It's just 6. Him over there. Green hair guy. Green goblin guy. Pays. Oh. No. Mm. Mhm. What? Oh. You got this. You're doing great. You did great. You did great. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, Luke. No.
Alright, court will be reconvening shortly.
This man is shitting on my desk.
Bailiffs, please go secure the man that just shit on the desk. He's wearing red.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Your Honor, I believe that Amari ran out of the building courtroom saying he's gonna fuck up the person.
Nah, I was
and
just
he's able to run.
Objection
I was
relevant.
just- I
Shut
was
the fuck up, Vinny.
And I see him running, Your Honor.
Judge. He ran out reaching.
Court's
What a
not in
limp.
session yet. He can do whatever he
Alright,
wants.
let's get the court back in session and get everyone back in here.
Your dick may not work, but at least you can run, Amari.
That's crazy. Did you hear
Oh,
that?
do you
That
wanna
is
see
so
it? Do you wanna
disrespectful
see
to
it?
my
Do you want
client.
to see it?
That is a very good point. I did just witness him run.
Look at it. Look
And now
at
he's
it.
now he's showing me his penis in the courtroom, Mr.
You did kind of
Your
ask
Honor.
for it though, Vinny.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
asked for
didn't.
it.
Dear,
I heard you specifically ask to show him.
I did not say that.
Excuse me.
I mean, Amari wasn't getting any bitches before this anyway, so I don't think there's any problem.
Yeah, I pulled your mother before his dick was broke.
let's all calm down before everyone
I
gets
pulled your mother
contempt of
before
court.
this thing was broken.
That's all. That's all.
All of my kids went into it, buddy.
Listen, let's all
All
calm
the
down.
last of my kids.
Listen, let's all calm down, all right?
Yes, sir. What's going on, boss?
Your Honor.
Testify against Amari Williams.
Your
for his
Honor.
Attitude that just he just performed in the courtroom.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I would just like to inform you, out of respect, that when the doctor was on the stand, we heard everything you were saying to him.
Yes. And I'm really sorry that you were erected during the court
I'm really
session.
sorry about your injuries.
Hey, look, it happens to the best of us, all right?
Yeah, maybe you and Amari can share medication.
Oh my.
At least you can get erect. I can't.
Oh God. Oh God. I can't show my face to any of those lot lizards over at the Palomino gas station ever again. Oh.
Not the lot lizards.
What?
It's
Do you
Judge,
want to
me too,
elaborate on
me
that?
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Mr. Do what?
All right.
I don't know. Actually. That's a good question. Yo, Mr. G, do you have a toe still?
Order in the court. All right. I'll now begin the reading of the verdict. If anyone interrupts, they will be held in contempt and fined in the amount of $150,000. Alright.
Everyone, take a seat right now.
Alright. In the matter of Amari Williams versus the Los Santos Police Department, the court finds in favor of the plaintiff on the first tort of excessive use of force, vehicular, causing injury, based upon the reckless disregard of the cadet and sustainable threat to the community justifying a use of lethal force not being present. The court finds the extent of the injuries and compensatory damages to be valued in the amount of $240,000. The court does find, based on the arguments from the defense, that the initial causation and thereafter reckless disregard by Amari Williams contributed to the event, and evaluate him to be at 50% culpability for the cause of the damages to his person. The court therefore awards Amari Williams in the amount of $120,000 for the vehicular strike causing injury. On the second tort of excessive use of force regarding the tasering and cuffing, the court finds the Los Santos Police Department and the cadet to have violated established normal use of force principles, thereby established by law, and also listed within their standard operating procedures, and finding it contributed to the injury and constituted a Fourth Amendment violation regarding use of force, rule in favor of the plaintiff. The court awards Amari Williams in the amount of $100,000.
What the fuck?
He did everything that they said he did.
Bailiff, whoever is saying that, take him down to the cells.
I'm gonna need y'all to sit the fuck down and stop clapping.
Bro,
this is a court. Have some respect.
Language.
The court.
Language.
The court does not find punitive damages justifiable, given the shared culpability, and will not award the standard 30% in punitive damages. The court also orders the Los Santos Police Department to cover half of the expected legal fees, being $100,000, thereby covering in the amount of $50,000. The court also finds the reckless nature of the cadet operating without the FTO and outside of the realm of expected behavior and in a manner negligent, hereby orders the cadet's peace officer license suspended for 72 hours with court mandated driving lessons to be completed before reinstatement of the license. The court thereby orders the Los Santos Police Department to pay Amari Williams in the amount of $270,000. Are there any final motions from either side?
That's what I'm saying, nigga. What the fuck, bro? Ain't your hands tired, bro?
All right.
Coming from the plaintiff's side, no.
All right. With no final motions, I hereby adjourn the court. The police department has 48 hours to post payment to Mr. Amari Williams.
Hey, Vinny, I
Thank
need
you,
to
Your
talk
Honor.
to you. Vinny, I need to talk to you. Like right now. Come here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Phil. We did that, Uncle Phil.
Absolutely not.
Who going to jail?
Yeah, go on.
on now.